welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today we talk about the massive news that came out yesterday. Everyone was talking about it. I didn't get the chance to make a video about it, but I am now. Warner Brothers / Discovery, okay, let's say Warner Brothers. Discovery canceled the Batgirl movie. Now, the Batgirl movie has been talked about for quite some time. It was announced a few years back. I believe, the actress from In the Heights, I can't remember her name, I think it's like Leslie Jones or something, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, she's a Latino actress, was cast as Batgirl. We heard, God damn it, J.K. Simmons, Commissioner Gordon was going to be in this. We heard that Michael Keaton's Batman was going to be in this. Brendan Fraser was going to be supposed to be in this, playing the Firefly as the villain, which is a very good, which Firefly is one of those Batman villains who you don't see a lot. I mean, you see him, but you don't see him. You know what I mean? He's never been the center of a story outside of the occasional episode. But he's never been the center of a movie, so it was cool to see. So, the idea of a Firefly, I was like, okay, that's cool, especially since it's Batgirl. Firefly's a lesser Batman villain. It makes sense. And I was excited for it. And then the images came out for this, and she was in the newish kind of purple Batgirl suit. It's the one that she makes herself, before she becomes a member of the Bat family. Because if you guys don't know, Batgirl has a history. One of the most iconic female superheroes of all time, which is funny to think that, but Batgirl is one of the most iconic female superheroes of all time. The daughter of Commissioner Gordon. When she first started out, unlike the Robins and stuff, Batgirl started out as a vigilante on her own. She had made this Batman costume because she was inspired by Batman. Obviously, her dad's probably said glowing things about Batman. She's inspired to be just like him. And she started wearing a costume. She made this purple, this kind of purple costume. Now the old Batgirl costume wasn't like this, but they kind of allude to this. They even alluded to this in the Harley Quinn show. She made this purple costume, this kind of Batman-esque costume, but it's got the purple and it has a yellow logo on the front. Really cool design. And she was a vigilante, and she was going out trying to be Batman, but she was doing it with, she had training. She could kick ass. She couldn't kick. Now, the ass she could kick after being trained by Batman is a different level than the ass she was kicking. Now, she had training. She was trained by her father, She's been, she's born into this in this world. She could fight, and she was kind of doing it. And then she met the Batman, and the Batman basically went, look, if I'm going to let one of my best friend's daughters get into this crime fighting thing, I'm going to make sure that I give you every fucking tool to do it. So Batman trained her. She's a badass. She gets his tools. She was already a genius. She was already a tech whiz and already a genius at these things. Because each member of the Bat family, I've often believed this, and I'm sure some people do too. And it's funny, I'm not a DC guy, but I know a shit ton about the Batman, because the Batman's my second favorite superhero of all time. But each member of the Bat family has one aspect of, Bruce is just as good as all of them at doing all of these things. But each member of the Bat family expertise is in something that Bruce himself is good at, but they are experts in it. And her expertise was always being an elite level hacker and very intelligent when it comes to technology. So Barbara Gordon has always been a cool character. I was excited to see what they did. They cast a minority actor in that role. So even that was kind of exciting. And, we didn't hear a lot about it. But then we heard that they got the Bad Boys for Life guys working on this. The guys who just got done directing Miss Marvel. And it's not a coincidence that every one of the best episodes of Miss Marvel were directed by these guys. And they did an amazing job on Bad Boys for Life. I did my review of that. I couldn't believe how good that movie was. I thought this was just some stupid, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence getting together to do a movie. And it was no, man, these guys breathed life into this film. Bad Boys for Life was done very well by those two guys. Two young guys too, two young acting duo guys. They did a great job on that. And they did they directed the best episodes of Miss Marvel. And so when you hear that they're coming on to do this Batgirl show, and then you get done watching Miss Marvel, and they say Miss Marvel's gonna be a little darker. So in my mind anyways, I'm thinking, well, I know Barbara Gordon, I know the Batgirl character, I've seen some of her comics, I've seen her in many different animation forms, and in my mind, I'm like, I can kind of see, like, the kind of childlike wonder of a Miss Marvel, how they kind of played that, but like a little darker, because of where it is, a little darker, a little edgier, and like, in my mind, I could see the story, and I was excited for this show, I really was. And then yesterday, out of the blue, I mean, this shit was out of the blue. I remember just looking up, like, I remember it like it was yesterday. I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel I follow. I think it's called, like, Comic Cast. I can't remember the name. I think it's Comic Cast. I just looked up and they said it's canceled. Now, no disrespect to that YouTube channel that I follow, but sometimes he's a little over the top with his, like, when he posts shit up. And then you actually watch the video and it's like, man, it's not even that bad. And I'm thinking, and that happens occasionally. I'll see a YouTube video or I'll see someone say something and I'm like, really? And I'll look it up to see if it's true. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. This was accurate. And I remember when this first broke out, and I'm sure you guys remember it too. You're probably a part of it. Everyone thought it was a lie. Everyone thought it was fake. Everyone thought it was bullshit. Because you have to understand, this movie is done filmed. This movie has been filmed. You know, now they probably haven't worked out the VFX and whatnot. Obviously, when you got a character like Firefly, there's going to be some not heavy special effects, but there's going to be enough special effects. They haven't worked out, but the actual filming of this, and they were in post-production. They were like halfway through post-production. So like, this movie is, I believe what they said, 80%, something like that, done. 80, almost 90% done. So this film is almost done. So that's why most people, when this broke out, didn't initially believe it, because they're like, this movie's done. Like, what are we talking about? And at first, when I saw it, I was like, I didn't know that it was like, that's what threw me off. When I first saw it, I was just like, okay, whatever. But then when I heard that now this movie's 90% done, I was like, what? And then you hear that they spent almost $100 million on this movie. You're like, what? And then you hear that this movie isn't getting a theatrical release. Okay, we heard it was going to be Disney Plus anyways. No, this movie's not getting released at all. And then you hear that they're basically writing this movie off. They're basically, what was it, tax return or some bullshit like that? I can't remember the details. But whatever they did, they now cannot actually, like, legally show this film. I'm trying to remember what it was. They can't make a profit off of this movie now. Whatever, I don't remember how the wording was. It was a tax return or something. It was a tax write-off. It was a tax write-off on the entire film. So they can't actually make profit off of this movie. They can't put it on HBO Max, and they can't put it out in theaters. So this movie is a lot like that old Fantastic Four movie. This is a movie that's technically finished. This movie is gonna come out one day. It's maybe it'll be years from now, but one day. And it's so insane. Now, the reasons we keep hearing is it varies. Now, the big one, at least from what I'm hearing, is that apparently the test screenings for this movie weren't that well liked. Which, to me, is still conflicting, just because when has that ever stopped a studio from not releasing? Like, when has that ever stopped a studio from releasing something? Like, I mean, Morbius got released, for crying out loud. Fucking the Venom movies, like Suicide Squad was a mess. Like, the original Suicide Squad was a mess. Like, some of the descriptions of this film, I'm like, well, people said that about New Mutants, but hell, Disney still released New Mutants. This is insane to me. Like, I'm like, you just are not gonna release this movie. And the thing about it is, I feel so bad for all the people working on this film. You have to think, they've been working on this movie for at least a year. And I know a little something about a little something. I'm not like detailed. I'm not out in Hollywood. But just from osmosis of just listening and seeing and reading so much, I could kind of have an idea of the hard work that goes into making these kind of things. And to spend your entire year, and spend a year almost, dedicate your life, sorry, still dealing, to working on something, and to just have it, not only take it, like, I thought, like, people were upset at Disney for taking things out of theater and putting it on Disney Plus. Well, they went a step further. No one's ever gonna see this thing you made. And I don't see how, like, the thing is, some people are saying this is a good idea. Some people are saying that, like, this is quality control. And that's what some people are saying, that they canceled it because it was so bad and they want quality control and they want to go in a different direction. And whatever was in this movie, maybe the Michael Keaton of it all or whatever, there was something in this movie that didn't allow wiggle room for them to, like, say, oh, we're starting over. So they just got rid of the movie altogether because they want to go in a different direction. Which, by the way, tells me that the new guy, I think his name is David Laszloff. I can't remember his first name, but I think his name, I'm pretty sure his last name is Laszloff. The Discovery guy. I am 90% sure with this cancellation, and also Scoob got canceled. No one cares about that, but that also got canceled. And that was also another project that was pretty much done. And when you see the voice cast on that project, you're like, wow. That they really want to have a cinematic universe. And the vibe I'm getting, and this is what I keep hearing also, is that basically Discovery is, when it comes to the DC projects, is saying either you have to be a cheap movie, like the Joker, or you have to be a $200 million plus blockbuster, like Black Adam. And they're not making anything in the middle of that. That's what I'm hearing. Because in my brain, when I hear about the actual budget for Batgirl, I'm like, dude, the MCU is like, Marvel's spending $150 on fucking Hawkeye, and you guys are scared about now granted, like they said, it might have been terrible. Maybe. But it's like, are you guys not willing to spend that kind of money? Then, I'm almost glad I waited to make this video today. Because then, maybe I'll talk about that in another video. Who knows? But I'll talk about it briefly here. Now I'm hearing that they cut 70% of creative off of HBO Max. Not only that, I'm hearing HBO Max isn't even going to be its own thing very long. That not only is it going to be consolidated to the Max, it's going to be like it's going to be a piece of Discovery. HBO Max is going to get folded into Discovery Plus, and there's not going to be, this is the problem with behavior like this, is I don't see how any creators will want to work with Discovery / Warner Brothers. Because if you're willing to do this, if you're willing to literally wait until I'm finished with my movie and then cut it, why would I trust you guys? Who's gonna trust these guys? Ever? And that's the thing. Some people have said it, some people haven't. But there is an unwritten rule in Hollywood. You know what I mean? I've never seen a film of this scale get canceled so late in the game. You know what I mean? There's an unwritten rule. Like I say, there's an unwritten rule. Like, if you are making a movie this big, if you're making a movie this massive, if you put this much time into it, you release that fucking movie. By hook or by crook. Because the fact of the matter is, you're not going to recoup the money. You aren't going to recoup the money if you don't release it. Now, you might not recoup it from releasing it, but there's a chance you might recoup it from releasing it. There is no chance of recouping it for not releasing it. And you just wasted everyone's time. Now, granted, you could say that technically, the old regime were making the movie, so it's not really on Discovery, it's the old regime. But it's like, dude, this is just like the same thing with fucking, what was it? The New Mutants. Disney didn't just bury the New Mutants. We all heard this movie sucked. We all hear the same exact thing about the New Mutants, but does Disney just bury it and pretend like it never happened? No, they put it out there. They couldn't even put it out there. Nothing. Just boom, put it out on HBO Max. And like I said, I feel bad for the actress. I feel bad for the writers. I feel bad for the people who worked on this movie, Brendan Fraser, all of them. Because essentially, they got their times wasted. Just because this new guy wants to make a big splash and he is trying to bulldozer his way to making this, whatever vision he sees. And I don't know if anyone's gonna work over there. I would be looking for the brother duo, the duo who directed it, to be coming over to Disney to work on Miss Marvel's sequels. You know, I'd give the whole damn thing to them. Be like, hey, you guys are treated bad over there. Come over here, baby. We'll let you have the whole Miss Marvel show this time, because I think they directed the best episode. So give them the whole goddamn thing. But anyways. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please like, subscribe. What do you think about Batgirl being canceled? Are you shocked? Were you surprised like me and many others? Or did you see it coming? Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show again. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.